Hi everybody, Rima from Eureka Fabrics here, and today I'm going to show you how to take our basic t-shirt pattern and make it into a turtleneck. So much fun. So I'm working once again with a reduced version of the pattern just so it's easier for you to see. So let's get started. I'm going to start out by putting a little bit of paper underneath my pattern pieces so that we can draw in our new neckline. I'm just gonna tape these guys down. Okay. Now, the first thing I want to do is measure from the point right next to your neck on your shoulder to the point on your shoulder. So we're going to check and see if this shoulder seam is wide enough. So on me, from the place where my shoulder meets my neck to the point on my shoulder is 6 inches. And we're going to pretend that these are inches, not centimeters, because that's just about fits the scale. And I'm seeing that this shoulder seam is just a little bit short. So I'm going to bring it up so that it's going to come up closer to my neck. And then because we did that here, we also need to do that here so that the two seams will sew together. Now, the back is gonna be pretty much just fine. So I'm just gonna make that curve so that that meets up at center back. And, you know, if you want a little more room, you can make it dip down a little bit. Or if you really want it snug up against the back of your neck, it can be higher. That's just up to you. And there's not going to be a whole lot of difference. You just want to make sure that this shoulder seam is going to be the same as this shoulder seam. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to measure from that point where your shoulder seam is going to meet your neck, and you're going to measure down the front to where you want your neckline to be. Now on me, and I'm kind of like your sort of plain vanilla basic size medium, that's going to be about 3 inches. So it depends on how big you want your turtleneck to be. Do you want it fitting tight? Do you want it fitting loose? And then we're gonna sort of extend that line out that way so that we know how far down to make this curve. Now we're also going to need to extend your center front line up. So let's just make a nice line right there. And now I need to make a curve that starts here and goes here. Now, if you have one of these fancy design rulers, you can use this curve right here to sort of approximate what your neckline looks like, even on a teeny tiny pattern like this. Oh, let me also say that your first 1/2 inch here should be a straight line. Because otherwise, if you're kind of going like this, you're going to end up with a V-neck. So you want your first 1/2 inch off your center front to be a straight line. And then I'm going to kind of make a curve. See how that looks. I actually think I want that curve to come out a little bit more this way. This is why it's really good to work with a really excellent eraser, which that is not. But it worked okay. So that looks like a good curve to me. So I know that this is going to come down far enough in front so it's not going to strangle me. Here's my center front. There we've adjusted the shoulder seam so that the turtleneck is not going to be like hanging out way out on my shoulder somewhere. We want it close to our neck. All right, now we have to figure out how to make our actual turtleneck collar. So we're going to measure this curve and that curve. Again, we're pretending these are inches because of my scale. So this one's about 5.5. And this one is about 4. So we add those together, we get 9.5. Now there's already seam allowance here and here, so we don't need to add that in. But we need to make this times 2, because again, this is only half. So we've got 19 inches. And that kind of makes sense. I mean, if you put your tape measure around your neck and bring it to 19 inches, that's gonna feel pretty comfortable, not too tight. So then you're gonna make a rectangle. That's gonna be our 19 inches on this side. Now this side will all depend on how tall you want your turtleneck to be. I like mine really tall. I like mine to go up about 4 inches. And then I have to add seam allowance here and here. So 4 inches times 2, because we're gonna fold it in half, plus 1/2 inch, that's 8.5 inches. So I'm gonna cut a rectangle 19 by 8.5 for me. And we've got a fold line here. So in order to sew this together, you're gonna sew your shoulder seams together first. Then you're gonna take this, fold it in half, sew that seam. Then you're gonna fold your tube in half this way. And now you've got a collar that you can just stick in your neckline. And that is how you convert this t-shirt pattern, or frankly, any t-shirt pattern, into a turtleneck. I hope you had fun with me today, and we'll see you again soon.